Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Matt, and today I wanted to talk about overestimation of language learning abilities. This is something that I think is very prevalent within the language learning community, where there's a ton of people definitely overestimating how good they are at languages. And of course, there's obviously not every single person is doing that, but there's just a ton of that. And I think that, this is a common thing for humans, right? I think that it happens in pretty much like any skill set, but it's just super prevalent within language learning. And I think it's, as a beginner, it's a thing to be cognizant of, because it's very easy to feel like you're not very good at learning languages, or you're not, to lose motivation when you see people just kicking ass and they know like 6 languages or claim to know 6 languages, or you'll see YouTube polyglots. And I think that there's just a couple of things to think about. So first off, it shouldn't even matter. That's the first thing. Who cares how competent other people are, right? I think that comparison is good so far as it helps you to maybe analyze your own strategy and find ways to make your process better or more efficient, or realize shortcomings. But other than that, I think it's very dangerous, because it's very easy to be very hard on yourself, and to kind of possibly hurt your self-esteem. And I just don't think it's worth it. Especially too, you could be kind of really getting hard on yourself and really being negative in a reality that just doesn't exist. So for a lot of people, there's like kind of these claims that people are very competent, and I would say the B2 range, right? Because when you think about C1 and C2, those are very, very high levels of competency. I think I see a lot less people making those claims, but there are those, right? And the C1, C2 levels are very high, and so that really requires a lot of time and a lot of effort. But especially I think the B2, it's like an easier claim to make, that people are roughly fluent. But the thing about it is there's just this overestimation of how long that really takes. And also, not only is it just that time investment, but you have to use the right methods. Like, you could be spending a ton of time learning a language, and it does not necessarily guarantee you getting to that level just because you put in the hours, right? Think of school. That's a good example. So people make claims, I got to C1 just with Duolingo, or B2, and I just don't think that's probably true. Just the method is not enough to get you there. And so you'll see on forums and stuff people making those B2 claims with a bunch of languages, and it's just is that really the case? There's really no way to test them. And I think for a lot of people, if they really put themselves to the test, they'd find that they're probably not as good as they say they are. Whether that's hey, here's a book, read it and let me know what it's about, or the same with audio content, or being able to express yourself in the language. So it's definitely something that could be detrimental too. So and I think this is also, you also see it with YouTubers sometimes, especially kind of more in clickbaity videos, where people will be like, I'm speaking 8 languages. And the thing about those is a lot of times they're just saying something very basic. And you really don't know how good they are, right? Like, if you tested them on the cuff of their listening skills or reading skills, like how fluent would they be when they say they're fluent in 8 languages in the title? So that's the thing to consider. They can also just keep recording the video over and over again until it's perfect, or read it off perfectly. So be careful, right? There's just these ways, these traps to fall into, and which can really harm your motivation. And I know that there'll be some people out there that say, hey, I don't care about these polyglots or these other people, I'm focused on myself. But be careful still. It's very easy to find yourself just being negative on yourself when you see that, even if it's just for a split second or a couple of seconds. But I think a lot of these ideas I'm talking about are for those beginners, where they're learning that language, they're getting excited, and they might just kind of dig deeper into polyglots and other people out there, and they get the wrong impression, which can harm motivation for certain people. And I think that it's just something to think about. Ultimately, in the end of the day, focus on your own progress and your own competency. It doesn't really matter these other people. But there's, I think, a lot of overestimation of abilities. So that's all I had. What do you think? Do you think people generally overestimate their abilities or underestimate it? I think that really, funny enough, the more skilled you get at the language, the more you learn, the more likely people are to underestimate their ability because they see all of the possibilities of learning and improvement. They see how much further they have to go. And so versus the beginner who is in this kind of super high confidence level thinks they're way more competent than they are. But let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.